Jaguars today get the dub and defeat the Titans, and not only defeat the Titans, but also sweep the Tennessee Titans. So lots of people happy. Also, lots of people a little bit upset that draft position was hurt, and we will get into all that. But did want to give a shout out to this video sponsor, BetUS. And guys, Jaguars were 1-point favorites in this game and did wind up covering. So, that's something interesting. But with that said, on BetUS, maybe not much more fun stuff to bet on. Jaguars related, but hey guys, starting on Tuesday we have college football playoffs. All the spreads are out on that, so definitely go check that out. And if you guys want to kind of make those games a little bit more interesting, I know I don't have a dog in the hunt, so I'll probably go throw some bets out there to kind of give me some kind of rooting interest. But with all that said, BetUS is going to match your first deposit up to 150% with promo code YouTube150. That's 150% on your first deposit and 125% on your second and thirds. So the Jaguars today, let's get into the game. So the Jaguars today hosted the Tennessee Titans. Both teams going in with the same exact record. Both teams at 3-12, and the Jaguars win this one. The Jaguars win 20-13. And the Jaguars have officially swept the Titans. The Jaguars swept the Titans this year, but I know a lot of Jaguar fans, it's of course split when your team has such a bad record like this. I was definitely on team let's lose this game. And, for this one, it wasn't even about the Jaguars tank. This is more for the Titans tank. Like Titans, if they had won, they most likely would have dropped to pick number 10. But now, of course, we're kind of waiting to see the result of the Giants game. But the Giants beat the Colts today, then the Titans are going to be looking at having the number 2 overall pick in this upcoming NFL draft. So the Jaguars, essentially, by getting swept by the Titans, have handed the Titans their choice, one of the top 2 quarterbacks, which will be either Shadur Sanders or Cam Ward. So, yeah, this wasn't even about the Jaguars trying to improve their draft spot. It was more about, hey, do you want a division rival to get their pick a quarterback? Last time the Jaguars did this, Andrew Luck wound up going to the Indianapolis Colts. So I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I've been rooting for Jags. And it's funny, if you're on Team Tank, a lot of Jag fans are like, oh, you're not a – it's like, okay, we want to win or we want to lose, but, we can understand if you want to win. But if you're on, Team Let's Win Games, it's like, oh, you're not a real fan if you want – your team to lose to a division rival. It's like, that is absolutely not the case. We're seeing the long-term picture. We're seeing that, hey, the Jaguars, could be sitting here with a top draft pick and able to trade back, get more picks. When you're at the point where you are right now, where, you definitely don't feel like your head coach will be here much longer. You don't have your starting quarterback playing. Like, these wins don't carry over until next year. They don't. They just straight up don't. But whatever, the Jaguars sweep the Tennessee Titans. The Jaguars, while the record is 4-12, the Jaguars are 3-2 against the AFC South. They swept the Titans, or 1-0 against the Colts, and got swept by the Texans. So at the very least, Jaguars will go 500 against the AFC South. But yeah, overall, when you look at this game, Mac Jones had a pretty good game. Of course, he started off better than he ended, but 15 for 22, 174 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Wasn't throwing the ball in harm's way. His missed passes usually were passes that are not catchable by anybody. They go out of bounds, but he made some plays when it really mattered. Brian Thomas Jr., again, another big day, 7 receptions for 91 yards, 1 touchdown. He's one of 4 rookie receivers in NFL history that have 1,100 plus receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. He literally joins Jamar Chase. He joins Odell Beckham Jr. and he joins Randy Moss. Okay. If his career is going to be anything like those guys' career, I think we're in a good spot. Or maybe not OBJ. OBJ kind of went off his rookie year and, kind of lived off of his name for a while. But those other guys, pretty good receivers. Parker Washington, he remains pretty solid for us. 3 receptions, 31 yards, and 1 touchdown. He had a nasty touchdown there, man. That toe tapping. And even Brian Thomas Jr.'s touchdown. A lot of you guys don't notice it, but when he's running out there, he made that fade. he didn't put his arms up until late. The cornerback know the ball is going to him. So that's a pretty veteran savvy move by the rookie. So that's really exciting to watch. Yeah, and one thing you notice from when Mac Jones is playing quarterback, he doesn't really dish the ball out to that many players. I mean, only like no catches by a tight end. Only Brian Thomas Jr. and Parker Washington got all the receptions. Tim Jones and Duvernay combined for 2 receptions. So they each had 1 reception each. He doesn't dish the ball out to that many people, but wound up checking the ball down to running backs, and they had 3 receptions between Etienne and Dearness Johnson. Not that much Tank Bigsby this game. When you look at it, Tank Bigsby actually did come up with 11 carries for 33 yards, but we didn't really see him until late. Travis Etienne, 15 carries for 49 yards. It was definitely a slop game today. Rain conditions were kind of crazy all over Florida. We see Tampa Bay playing at home too. Big, Doppler radar, big thing coming right through the state of Florida, and it impacted the Jaguars game very early. It was pouring rain there. Where I'm in Orlando, it impacted us a little bit later in like the second half, but yeah, not a great day to be outside in the state of Florida, that's for sure. Mac Jones, 6 carries for 22 yards this game. Brian Thomas Jr. had himself actually 1 carry for 18 yards. Would have liked that to be maybe a shovel pass instead of a reverse, because then he would have had over 100 yards receiving. But hey, it is what it is. I know at this point, well, I'm not cheering for wins. I'm cheering for wins out of our young guys. So I'm cheering for Brian Thomas Jr. to continue to really be nasty in the wide receiver game. So he definitely continues to do that. And Brian Thomas Jr., man, he is a hit. That guy is awesome. I'm so excited to see him next year when we're playing like relevant football and, under a good coaching staff, hopefully a good coaching staff, and, hopefully Ben Johnson in the building. But yeah, that's the big thing, man. Like, and I'll get to that later, but 1 game left, and then we can finally move on, man, because it feels like, it really feels like October, November, and now December, we just kind of been watching the Jaguar season in quicksand. It's like we're watching the season, after starting the season 0-4. We know we're not going anywhere. We're just trying to survive. Like, there's still Doug Peterson out here coaching. We know he's not going to be here next year. And it's just been weird because it's like we've moved on so long ago, but we have to continue to watch this because, look, even if you're out of it, you have to continue to play all of your games, right? So, that's kind of some stuff from the offense's end. It's disappointing that Brenton Strange only got 1 target. So I never understand the Jaguars' uses of Brenton Strange. He's a good tight end, in my opinion. And the Jaguars he's either fully involved in the game plan. I think, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, he had like 11 receptions. And this game, 0 receptions. Second year tight end drafted in the second round. Like to try to get him more involved. And yeah, none of the tight ends involved this game. And especially with Evan Ingram out, you would think that more targets would kind of come their way, but it just didn't. Defensively, locked the Titans down for the most part. Devin Lloyd got himself an interception after a double tip. Devin Lloyd actually had a pretty good game today. He was kind of all over the field. A lot of it, like, where have you been lately? But he did have a good game. Andre Cisco had himself a good game. Came in with a tackle for loss on a blitz, so that was good. Monteric Brown and Tyson Campbell were locking players down. Calvin Ridley didn't really have many receptions until late. And look, we talk about what do we play for? Like, at least if you win, it's the players want to win, the coaches want to win. So I feel good for the players, but also Calvin Ridley left Jacksonville, went to the Titans, and got swept by the Jaguars. So that's I guess cool to see that Calvin Ridley is 0-2 against the Jaguars as a Titans player. Josh Hines Allen finally showed up. I mean, Josh Hines Allen has been gone, like disappeared for the last like 3 weeks. And I remember once I mentioned it on my stream, I'm like, where's Josh Hines Allen been? All of a sudden, boom, he gets a 5-yard tackle for loss, and then boom, a sack. So he had 1 sack today. Mason Smith, another good game, man. Mason Smith, it's a shame he was a healthy scratch for so long, because now that he's actually getting reps, he's starting to look like a better player. And, he's getting involved in the run game. He had himself a sack, so it's good to see some good stuff out of your rookies. Of course, first round pick Brian Thomas Jr. We already know that he's really good, and now Mason Smith had another good another good game in this one. Trayvon Walker had himself a sack too. Eric Armstead continues to be pretty invisible. Even one of them, like, he came in on the edge and just like he got on Tajay Spears and just doesn't wrap. I mean, I don't know, man. And he'll be on a team next year, so it'll be up to that coaches have to figure out how the heck they're going to work him in. What they're going to do with his role in the team. Devon Hamilton had a couple decent run stops. I mean, Tajay Spear was the best player on the Titans, but he left early with an injury. Not exactly sure what the injury was. Jaguars were a little bit injured. Of course, Cole Van Lanen started in place of Walker Little, who had an ankle last week. Brandon Sheriff, I think, went out of the game a couple times. Of course, it's kind of hard when you're on the offensive line. It's hard to tell like when players in and out, but we saw some backups play, at that spot. So that's what happened there. Cam Little had a good game, 2 for 2 on field goals with a long of 48, also 2 for 2 on extra points. So, yeah, Cam Little, another good rookie. I mean, the rookie class is actually shaping out pretty decently. So, of course, with Brian Thomas Jr., Mason Smith is starting to look good. Jarian Jones having a pretty good year. Jordan Jefferson played, not really on the stat sheet at all, but he played. So that's good. I hope we can play all the rookies outside of maybe Javon Foster, who the Jaguars drafted in the 4th round out of Missouri, just because I don't want the quarterback to get killed. I know it's not Trevor, but I still don't want Mac Jones to get killed back there. But also shout out to Mac Jones. Mac Jones is his second win as a Jaguar. He effectively sweeps the Titans. And I say that because he's a Jacksonville guy. He born in, I think he was born, at least raised in Jacksonville, went to bowls. So, he swept the arch rival Tennessee Titans. While it's probably going to allow the Titans to get a quarterback, I don't think anybody really cares on the Jaguars what happens, So that's what happened there. If you look at the Titans stats, Mason Rudolph wasn't great. 19 of 31, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He got sacked 3 times. Just a bunch of checkdowns. He ran the ball a bunch, of course, with the wet conditions. He had 5 carries for 23 yards. Calvin Ridley, actually, stat sheet looks better than I thought it was. 5 receptions for 84 yards. Of course, he started getting the ball late when the Jaguars were almost playing like a prevent defense. Tajay Spears had a career high. CBS is pointing out career high game for Tajay Spears, 20 carries for 95 yards, and then boom, injured. Boom, he never came back. He was walking into the locker room. Not sure the severity of that. Chestnut came in the game for him, which, by the way, is there a better quarterback running back name combo during Christmas time than Rudolph and Chestnut? Okay. It makes you a little bit emotional that Christmas is now here and gone, and we're going to move on to 2025, the new year. So Aquanko had 1 carry for 17 yards. Calvin Ridley had a reverse, which he almost fumbled. The ball bounced twice before picking it back up, and he ran for 7 yards. So, yeah, defensively, it's just, honestly, this game was just sloppy. I mean, of course, the rain conditions played into it, but, I mean, we saw 2 teams with losing records, just seeing who's sucked less. And look, the Jaguars are a better team than the Titans. We know that because the Jaguars swept the Titans, both wins coming in December. And look, if one for the Titans, if it had been reversed and the Titans swept the Jaguars would have had the number 1 overall pick in the draft. So there's that. And I'm waiting for some of these games to kind of finish up so I can really take a look at where the Jaguars are looking on Tankathon. Lots of games still remaining. Jaguars had the same round of wins as the Panthers now, as the Buccaneers whooped on the Panthers. So only the Jaguars, Eagles, and Tampa Bay games have been finalized. So outside of that, Jets getting whooped. The Giants beating, man, that's another one, man. The Giants will win, and that's crazy, man, because now it's going to look like the Patriots will have the number 1 overall pick, with the Tennessee Titans, I believe, will be number 2, and the Jaguars drop back a little bit. So, man, the Jaguars will be sitting at the number 2 spot right now, especially when you look ahead to next week. the Bills have already locked up the number 2 spot. They're going to be able to rest starters next week against the Patriots. So Patriots could easily pick up a win, and then we'd be like, man, I don't know, whatever. I know look, when you're at this point in the year, you got to figure out what to root for. You got to figure out what brings you passion to your team. And right now, looking at Tankathon and looking at draft capital, that's what makes me feel competitive, because look, the best way to build a team is through the draft. Super Bowl teams aren't built through free agency. They're built through the draft. So I want whatever's going to make that draft spot better, and whatever will make this Jaguars head coach opening better, this Jaguar GM opening better, just all that. It just gives you way more opportunity. But yeah, what I'm going to do, I will go ahead and open up Tankathon just to see where we're at, and I will share it with you. Let's see. Tankathon. Okay, so New York Giants, they're going to win. So yeah, you'll see the strength of schedule. Giants will go behind the Titans, so they'll be strength of schedule. Giants move all the way back to pick number 6. Wow. Isn't that crazy, guys? The Giants winning this meaningless game dropped to number 6. And at least the Jaguars aren't looking for a quarterback, so it'd be much worse in that situation. But man, there's so many teams with 3 and 4 wins. The Jaguars right now have number 6 spot, but if you look at it, yeah, I think the Jaguars will have this spot. Vegas and Cleveland are both playing right now, so got to root for Cleveland. Vegas is actually going to win. So yeah, at least Vegas will move back behind the Jaguars. So the Jaguars, I believe, will be picking number 5, which isn't that bad, because the Jaguars going into today were picking number 3, but then with the win, they moved back to number 5. So not that bad. But like I keep saying, this is more about just allowing the Titans just a better draft spot, letting the Titans draft ahead of you, and the Titans will be able to get their quarterback. Because at the very worst, they'll be drafting number 2. Even if New England Patriots trade out, there'll still be another quarterback remaining for the picking. So yeah, I don't know. That's what it's all about to me. I'll be honest with you. But with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Twitter or the X to kind of see what people are saying about the Jaguars, whether it be fans or media. Let's see. Okay, so don't stand too close. That's pretty good, I guess. It almost looked like Brian Thomas Jr. was doing like a Heisman pose. I'm like, wrong league, bro. Wrong league. So I feel like he's got to put on some weight. He's got some skinny legs, man. But played all games this year, right? I don't think he missed a single game. Oh, this was good. Airplane banner calling for Jaguars owner Shad Khan to fire GM Balky was seen flying near Everbank Stadium. Shad, fire Balky for Duval. It's pretty good. Logging on to X and letting the haters know BTJ is a Jaguar and we sweat the Titans. Pretty tone deaf. The Jaguars receiving core next year, wide receiver 1, Brian Thomas Jr., wide receiver 2, T-Mac or Higgins, slot wide receiver Parker Washington. Let's do it. See, now one thing that's good about having Brian Thomas Jr. locked down for the cheap contract for the next 4 years, now the Jaguars can really spend some money to go get a wide receiver outside of him. It just sucks that Christian Kirk got hurt, because that contract would have been off the books. Then we really would have opened up the books to be able to pay a wide receiver some money, but it is what it is. Yeah, happy for the Jaguars players that they win, but do all celebrating beating the Titans, realizing the win likely means Travis Hunter won't be a Jaguar. Jaguars might actually be the number 1 most attractive opening this offseason, regardless of what this app will tell you about how, quote, bad Trevor is. Yes, Trevor's a good quarterback. I'm telling you, this organization is holding him back like crazy. BTJ ties Randy Moss's rookie record for most games, 8, with 60-plus receiving yards and a touchdown in NFL history. That's good, right? That's good. Calvin Ridley went 0-2 versus the Jaguars and no touchdowns. I know he's sick, but I'm sure that bank account makes it better. Yeah, so Christian Kirk says rookie of the year, top 5, all that. He won't win rookie of the year because it's a quarterback award, and Jaden Daniels is just having too good of a season. But if there was a rookie wide receiver of the year, I don't know, is there like an all rookie team? I mean, he'd be the number 1 wide receiver on there. I mean, the numbers Just prove it. And, you're wondering if there's an actual redraft. Where does Brian Thomas Jr. go in a redraft? I feel like at worst, number 2. I feel like he get drafted before Marvin Harrison Jr., definitely Roma Dunze. And I know Ladd McConkey's having a good year, but nobody's come close to him. And, Neighbors is very dynamic. I guess at the end of the day, if you're considering drafting a wide receiver in the first round and you're at a tie between 2 different players, if the guy went to LSU, draft him. Okay. This league is getting dominated by LSU wide receivers with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Now you got the new young guns and Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors. It's pretty awesome, right? It's pretty awesome. What is this? Below is the original draft card for Cam Little, a rookie. Little is 23 of 23 on extra points and 22 of 24 on field goals with a long of 59 this season. Good draft pick. Good draft pick. And it was a comp pick. How about that? Shot fire, bulky for Duval. Jaguar fans that brought the stadium banner. See, I mean, we didn't do clowns, but we brought the banner in there. That's pretty awesome. Am I in the pouring rain watching this terrible team play a meaningless game? Yes, I am. Jaguars PR totaled Brian Thomas totaled 71 yards on 5 receptions in the first half of today's matchup. His 1,159 receiving yards are 8th most by a rookie in NFL history. So yeah, next week, let's get another big one. Let's get another big game. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's some good stuff. If my counting is right, Jaguars lead today without a number 4, number 5 pick. So yeah, hopefully we gotta be cheering for the Browns. That's for sure. All we want for Christmas: new Jags coaching staff, new Jags GM, signed BTJ jersey. All right, so let's go and stop sharing. Let's see. I don't know if any games have concluded yet. Refreshing Tankathon right now. Oh, okay, so what's next for the Jaguars? Look, the Jaguars next week play the Colts in Indianapolis. Today was the Jaguars home finale. So sorry to all season ticket holders for another crappy year. Unfortunately, that kind of comes with the territory of everything where the Jaguars have not been a good investment of money or time. But hey, at least we have a team in Jacksonville, right? So yeah, and the Colts, man, last night actually played pretty well for them. Last night, the Bengals beat the Broncos, which was actually good for the Colts. All the Colts needed to do, I'm pretty sure, was beat the Giants and beat the Jaguars, and they were in the playoffs. They somehow lose to the Giants. Yeah, they lost to the Giants 45-33. That is terrible. That's terrible for the record. So, yeah, now I think Indy's playing for nothing next week. The Jaguars are, of course, playing for nothing. But yeah, I would say I'd rather my team go 5-12 than 8-9, because at 8-9, you're a losing team with a terrible draft spot. So yeah, that's what it is. Shout out to Masterlangelo. He says, Sweet Titans and still end up with the top 5 pick. That's true. But my thing is more about allowing the Titans to move up to pick number 2 overall. That's more what I'm looking at. Yeah, and that's crazy. So the Raiders did officially beat the New Orleans Saints. So, geez, talk about a terrible couple of weeks if you're a Raiders fan. They had a number 1 overall pick 1 week ago in this AM, and now Tankathon's not loading for some reason, but it is what it is. So yeah, we'll continue to look out, but I'm definitely looking forward to next week where we can end the season and then we can finally move forward, man. We've been running in quicksand these last couple of weeks, or these last couple of months, I should say, knowing that a firing is going to come, but it never did. We got to see the Saints fire their head coach. We got to see the Jets fire their head coach. We got to see the Bears fire their head coach. But Jaguars didn't do anything. Jaguars sat on their hands, and now finally, in probably 8 days, Black Monday, we'll finally get to see some action. And then we can move forward. We know where we're drafting. We know we can finally start looking at draft prospects, looking at head coach prospects, hopefully GM prospects. Because I know a lot of Jaguar fans feel that that Doug will be out and Trent will be in. I certainly hope not. But That's what everybody fears. But and that is the recap of today's game. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Drop a like on your way out, and go Jags.